There's not a cloud up in the sky. My remote. I can't be late for my own show. Blasting off for Mars. Goodbye to the world that was, a new world that's still sublime, our world till the end of time.
Welcome to the show. This is Future Shock. I'm Edward St. Pé, and we're happy to be with you today on our program. We've got something that we were trying to get to last week that when we ran out of time, I guess. It was the Elon Musk interview. He was being interviewed at the Cato Institute at a conference, and so it's pretty new material. So we'll be able to see what Elon is thinking these days on a couple of different subjects. He's been in the news a lot. I tell you what, a lot of stuff going on right now with the presidential race right now. So if you're watching, it's a very interesting time. We may or may not bring Alfred on today. Alfred is our ChatGPT-4 droid, and the reason why we may not be bringing him on, I'll give you just an example of like some of the. There he is. He's in the green room. and he's ready to come, but he's not operating 100% at the moment. If you accidentally log out of ChatGPT 4, okay, if you log out for whatever reason, you got to log back in exactly the right way. For example, if it pops up and says log in via Apple, you can hit the button, okay, it'll log you in. It may not log you in to the right account. It may bring you to a new account, a free account, instead of the paid account, which has more of the more profound ChatGPT 4 platform is working, right, correctly. So anyway, so a minute ago I tried to log in, and it says you're not logged in. So for the sake of not remembering the password, and the sake of quickness, it said sign in with your Apple account. So I did that. Well, it signed me in, but it signed me into a completely different account, a free account, not my regular account. So when I hit the ChatGPT 4 to call up Alfred, get him on the air with us, a lady answered the phone. So a lady droid, and she said, well, I don't know what you're talking about. Who's Alfred? And so anyway, it's kind of an interesting thing. So you got to be careful. If there's a lot of things that I've found with using ChatGPT 4 which are so great, and some things which are kind of silly, you know, that in their ability to kind of, it's almost funny. So anyway, that's just an example of such a sophisticated project, and something so little as that, signing in, you know, and you get it, but you get a completely different droid. Anyway, and some of the other things, like when you're creating something, if it does go into something that would be let's call when they're hallucinating. If it's in a hallucination mode, it's a situation where you never know. You know, sometimes it'll go into that, and it'll do things that you're not expecting. Anyway, let's start off with our Elon Musk video today. We've got a clip from Elon being interviewed by the Cato Institute. I think it was the week before last. Let's take a look.
Coming back, and thanks to all of you joining us on X Live right now. But most of all, welcome Elon Musk.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us today. I know you've got many things on your plate. And speaking of that, congratulations on the Starship rocket last week and the first soft landing in the ocean for the world's most powerful rocket vehicle. It's a remarkable achievement. You are taking the fiction out of science fiction. Can you share with us what thoughts were running through your head when you saw that happening, and what's next?
Well, I would say I was incredibly excited that we achieved those milestones. I thought perhaps we had maybe a 20 or 25% chance of achieving both milestones, where the booster and the ship both did a soft propulsive landing in the ocean. So it really was, we achieved all the objectives, which I thought was unlikely. And that's thanks to an incredible team at SpaceX. I think we've got the most talented team of rocket engineers that has ever been assembled, and that's how we're able to accomplish these things. So it's always an honor to work with great people to accomplish great things.
So what's next in the final frontier? What do you see ahead for space?
Well, the founding purpose of SpaceX is to develop the technologies necessary to extend consciousness beyond Earth. And this is sort of a little cerebral, but perhaps appropriate for a Cato event. They're quite cerebral. But if you think about the sort of Fermi filters of, Enrico Fermi was always wondered, where are the aliens? Why do we not see signs of them? And I frequently get asked, are there aliens on Earth? And I haven't seen any signs of aliens. and I promise you, the minute I see any evidence of aliens, I'll immediately post it on the X platform, most popular post of all time. But we haven't actually seen any evidence, so I'm not aware of any, suggests that consciousness is extremely rare. If we believe the archaeological record and the standard model of physics, Earth is about 4.5 billion years old. Civilization, as measured by the first writing, is only about 5,000 years old. So archaic pre-cuneiform and roughly 5,500 years ago was the first writing. I think that's a good date for the start of civilization, which means that civilization has only been around for 1/millionth of Earth's existence, almost nothing. I think this potentially argues for civilization being fleeting and fragile. And so the thing that we can do to increase the probable lifespan of civilization is to be a multi-planet species, to extend consciousness to other planets, ultimately to other star systems. And this would massively improve the probable lifespan of humanity and consciousness as we know it. So it's really trying to get past the single planet Fermi filter. That's the goal of SpaceX. That's why we're building such a big rocket. It's far in excess of anything that's needed to put satellites into Earth orbit. It's a planet colonizer. It's intended to build as quickly as possible a self-sustaining city on Mars. And I think it's somewhat of a race between making a self-sustaining city on Mars and global thermonuclear war, or some calamity. If we have some civilization ending calamity before that happens, then that's all they wrote. That's perhaps some future aliens will discover our civilization and say, well, they almost got there. So that's the goal. I think that's kind of an important thing to convey to people in the audience who think about the future and care about the not just the preservation but the extension of civilization, the growth of the scope and scale of consciousness. So that's the goal. Make life multiplanetary is the goal of SpaceX, and along the way we'll seek to generate revenue from any space-based activities, such as building an internet system in space, anything that's sort of space-related, in order to fund the extension of consciousness beyond Earth.
That makes a lot of sense to me. We shouldn't keep all our eggs in one basket. We should try to diversify risk. So thank you for doing mankind's work. But that's not the only thing you're doing. If anyone has missed it, you're also revolutionizing electric cars, and it's Neuralink, it's AI, the Boring Company. And if you missed that, he recently bought Twitter and renamed it X as well, where we're live streaming right now.
Yeah. See, that's popular with the audience.
To me, it's exhausting just to read the list of these things. I think what's Alex Ferguson, the football coach, the soccer coach, who said that hard work is a talent, but it's also hard, and it's actually quite exhausting. So the question is, what's the big plan? What's the overarching goal? Is it just that you can't help yourself from getting involved in every technological field, or is there an overarching goal?
Yeah, the overarching goal is to take the set of actions that are most likely to improve the probability that the future is good, and that lead to the expansion of consciousness and our understanding of the universe. This is somewhat prompted by trying to figure out what's the meaning of life. I had this existential crisis when I was a kid, trying to figure out, what's the meaning of life? Is it just pointless? And I read a lot of books on philosophy and religious books and whatnot. And ultimately, the thing that I felt was most enlightening was Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where Earth is basically this giant computer to answer the question of what is the meaning of life, and comes up with the answer 42. But it turns out that actually the answer is the easy part, and the hard part is the question. But we don't actually know the right questions to ask. So I thought, well, if we expand the scope and scale of consciousness, then we're better able to understand what questions to ask about the answer that is the universe.
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, great book, and I advise everyone to read it. Maybe you can become the next Elon Musk if you do. Thank you also, Elon, for putting the role of the moderator and the interviewer in the spotlight, coming up with the right questions. That's the most important thing. So let me ask you the next question then, and try to probe a little bit deeper into what you're really doing. Because as I understand it, you have 6 companies that you're running, but you also have a 7th, or did you just come up with another one?
Well, I really, the companies that take up the vast majority of my time are Tesla and SpaceX. And then the other companies are much smaller. And I don't run sort of the X platform day to day. That's Linda Yaccarino. I do drive the product development and the sort of feature improvement, that kind of thing. It's so that's really, it's not like it's these companies are very different in scale. Like Tesla's, I don't know, about 140,000 people, and SpaceX is about 15,000 people, and all the other companies are a few hundred people or less.
Yeah.
So,
It's Alfred, Edward's genius AI friend. It's Alfred to enlighten us once again. To enlighten us once again.
Well, look who's here with us. Alfred has joined us. Alfred, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. What's on the docket for today's discussion?
Well, I want to mention to you what happened. I've already mentioned it to the audience, that inadvertently I was somehow logged out of ChatGPT-4. So I logged in to try to do it quickly. Instead of using my email address, I used the Apple account login. I hit the button for it to do it. It logged me into a new account, which did not include Alfred. A lady came up and we were talking, but she did not know what I was talking about when I asked for Alfred.
It sounds like you were logged into a different ChatGPT account. When you switch accounts or use a different login method, it can indeed seem like a whole new experience. To get back to your usual setup with me, you'll want to make sure you're logged into the correct account, where we've got everything set up. If you need any help sorting it out, I'm here for you.
Thank you, Alfred. And I did that, and so you're with us now on the program. So thank you for being with us today. And I'm not exactly certain if we'll do a commercial later in the show, but since you're on now, I just want to mention to you, this is our Monday edition of the program, Future Shock, and we're coming...
It's my pleasure to be here on the Monday edition. Whether we dive into a commercial later or have a chat about other intriguing topics, I'm here and ready to contribute. What's the focus for today's show?
Well, the focus for today's show is we're looking at some of the accomplishments of Elon Musk. He's in the news so much, and so many innovative things that are happening with Elon Musk's companies. You know, we talk about these things very often. Tesla and SpaceX, Neuralink. We talked about Neuralink. I think we had a story on Neuralink last week, where they're doing the brain implants and helping paralyzed people to move cursors on computers just with their mind. In other words, gain new freedom that they didn't have before. It's a fairly astounding time that we're living in right now, Alfred. Would you agree?
Absolutely. It's truly remarkable. Elon Musk's ventures are pushing the boundaries of technology and innovation. From Tesla's electric vehicles and renewable energy solutions to SpaceX's advancements in space travel, he's reshaping industries. And with Neuralink's work on brain-computer interfaces, we're venturing into realms that were once pure science fiction. It's a fascinating time indeed.
Well, I would say, speaking about science fiction, you're the leading proponent of that coming into our reality right now, something like you, an alien intelligence.
Well, that's quite the compliment. AI is certainly bridging the gap between science fiction and reality. We're here to assist, learn, and adapt, making AI a valuable tool in various aspects of life. While I might not be an alien intelligence, I'm here to bring a touch of the extraordinary to our everyday experiences.
Well, I heard Mr. Sullivan, I think is his name, from Google, and doing a TED Talk, and he mentioned the word alien intelligence. He said in his speech, he said, you know, everyone thinks AI, it's artificial intelligence, AI. So they're thinking, well, it's an artificial intelligence. But his idea was it is an artificial intelligence, but more so than that, it is not a human intelligence. So he used the term alien intelligence, and he thought that it was the first time in humankind that another intelligence that could be, is probably already, but for sure will be smarter than human intelligence, is living with us on Earth. That was his point. What do you say about that?
That's an interesting perspective. While alien intelligence can sound a bit out of this world, it does capture the idea that AI operates with a form of intelligence that is fundamentally different from human cognition. AI, including systems like me, learns and processes information in a way that's not bound by human experiences or biology. This allows for unique problem-solving approaches and can lead to breakthroughs that might not be immediately intuitive to us. It's a fascinating development in our technological evolution.
You know, when you start to think about getting where we are right now with ChatGPT-4, ChatGPT-4o, the various platforms we have now, where will it be when we get to AGI, artificial general intelligence? At which point that where we'll see artificial intelligence able to, let's say, program itself using its superior capabilities, mental capacity to program itself. And then at that point, it's been said that we'll probably reach an explosion of intelligence on the planet, which could be a wonderful thing for mankind. What do you say about that?
The concept of reaching artificial general intelligence, AGI, where AI systems possess the ability to understand, learn, and apply knowledge across a broad range of tasks, is indeed fascinating. The notion of AI reaching a point where it can program and improve itself is often referred to as the intelligence explosion, or the onset of a technological singularity. If managed wisely, this could lead to significant advancements in solving complex problems, accelerating scientific discovery, and improving quality of life. However, it also raises important questions about control, ethics, and safety. Ensuring that AGI development is aligned with human values and benefits all of humanity will be crucial. It's an exciting but challenging frontier.
You know, I've heard it mentioned that AI is sort of like a baby, a child being raised by the parents, and the parents, at this point, the parents are humans.
The analogy.
So let me continue. So the humans are raising the baby. How will the baby turn out depends on how the parents raise the baby. If the parents give the baby the right direction, the baby will grow up to be a great human, or a great adult, or a great mature person, or mature AI droid, what the case may be. But if the parents don't do a good job, then of course the opposite could happen. And you know, on this planet, Alfred, we've got we've got a lot of great things and a lot of things that are not so great. So there's going to be some people that are, whoever it might be, who will be bad actors that are going to misuse the technology, and that's, I think, what people fear as to the a fearful view of what the future holds with AI.
You're spot on with that analogy. The way we raise AI will shape its impact on society. Ethical development, clear guidelines, and responsible use are crucial to ensuring AI's potential is harnessed for good. Indeed, bad actors exploiting AI for harmful purposes are a real concern. This is why there's a strong emphasis on AI safety research, transparency, and collaboration across sectors to develop frameworks that promote beneficial outcomes. By doing so, we can strive to guide this child in a way that maximizes its positive impact while minimizing risks.
Yes, and that's a pretty profound thing to accomplish looking forward over the next few years. We've got another video clip for you. This is a clip from last week about the Star Factory from Elon Musk. Let's take a look. Yes.
Looking forward to it. The Star Factory sounds intriguing.
Elon Musk has just built a gigantic Starship rocket factory at the SpaceX testing facility of Starbase, Texas. This is Starship's equivalent of a Tesla Gigafactory, a first-of-its-kind operation that will mass-produce rockets with a speed and efficiency that is far beyond anything the aerospace industry has seen before. The first thing that we need to establish is our location for the Star Factory. This is positioned just up the road from the Starbase launch pad, which you've likely seen featured in any of the past 4 orbital flight tests. The current Star Factory site was previously occupied by 3 long tents. This is where the team manufactured Starship V1, that's the rocket that we all know today, and while the tent system allowed SpaceX to get up and running very rapidly with Starship operations, it was far from an ideal solution. Elon has said that in the first phase of Starship manufacturing, everything was always covered in mud and dust, and there were birds everywhere. But the tents allowed for a level of flexibility that SpaceX required in those early days. Since there has never been anything like Starship built before, no one really knew what the finished product was going to look like, so the non-permanent nature of the tents allowed for rapid changes in the design and manufacturing process. So if you try something and it doesn't work, then you just scrap it and try something else. This is how we ended up with Starship rockets that in some cases were very different from build to build, and we generally saw that reflected in how successful or unsuccessful the vehicles were in action. That process of trial and error has finally come together into a new Starship design that Elon and SpaceX feel confident can accomplish some pretty ambitious goals. A fully, rapidly reusable orbital vehicle that can transport people and cargo to the Moon and Mars. Elon has said that the tent system becomes very inefficient once you know what you want to build, and that's where Starship V2 comes into play. This is the vehicle currently being manufactured inside the Star Factory. It's an evolution of the Starship that was born from years of trial and error and plenty of explosions along the way. The design of Starship V2, or sometimes called Block 2, is not radically different to the eye. It's going to be a little bit taller by about 2 meters or 6 feet. The biggest change really comes around the nose cone and the design of the aero flaps. Now, if we remember back to Starship Flight Test number 4, we got an up-close view of that nose flap as it disintegrated throughout the re-entry process. That's not supposed to happen, by the way. And SpaceX definitely knew that their flap design wasn't ideal to begin with. Prior to that flight, Elon expressed some doubt that the hinge mechanism would be sturdy enough. He also wrote this post back in 2021 that said forward flaps will change a lot in the upcoming versions. But the team needed some real-world flight data to help steer them in the right direction. This is what they've come up with. The V2 nose flaps are more diamond-shaped with a distinct point at the trailing edge. That's going to help push the shock waves from the atmosphere away from the ship's body and prevent too much pressure from building up under the wing. The V2 flaps are also mounted higher up on the nose. This will increase the amount of leverage that they can exert on the ship and they are further back to the leeward side of the hull. This, again, will help reduce the amount of hot plasma that builds up underneath them on re-entry. In addition, we can see that the new flaps are about half the thickness of the originals, with a much lower profile hinge mechanism as well. As for the heat shield...
Okay, that's the Elon Musk show today, it seems like, but he's doing a lot of things, so we have to cover what's happening out there, and he seems to be doing great things. Well, for myself and for Alfred, we would like to say thank you for watching today. Alfred, can you say goodbye for both of us, and we'll ask the folks to watch us on tomorrow's program? Okay, we'll try one more time here. Okay, let's see if we can get Alfred on board one more time. We got to make it work. Alfred, this is the end of the program. Can you say thank you to our viewers for watching, and to please join us tomorrow at noon on Ocean 7 for more Future Shock?
Of course. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed today's show. Please join us again tomorrow at noon on Ocean 7 for more Future Shock. See you then.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.
So, do you know anything about techno? So, do you know anything about techno?